Hello, church. So here is our devotional for Friday, February 27th. I say it like that because I just had to restart the video because I completely goofed up what the numeric date actually was, which you didn't need to know, but I shared anyway because that's how we're going. Let We're good today. We step into Proverbs 11. This is continuing in the selection of sayings attributed to Solomon, and these Lewin uses the phrase antithetical. So we're talking about righteousness and wickedness, goodness and evil, and this kind of back and forth in these pairings. A few sections caught my interest in particular today, especially as we get in towards one of our closing verses for today's portion. And then we'll need to talk about some differences in manuscripts and that kind of thing. But we're going to go ahead and start off with Proverbs chapter 11. We'll begin with verse 1, and then we will be stopping for today at the conclusion of verse 16. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but an accurate weight is his delight. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but wisdom is with the humble. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless keeps their ways straight, but the wicked fall by their own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright saves them, but the treacherous are taken captive by their schemes. When the wicked die, their hope perishes, and the expectation of the godless comes to nothing. The righteous are delivered from trouble, and the wicked get into it instead. With their mouths, the godless would destroy their neighbors, but by knowledge, the righteous are delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. By blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Whoever belittles another lacks sense, but an intelligent person remains silent. A gossip goes about telling secrets, but one who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a confidence. Where there is no guidance, a nation falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. To guarantee loans for a stranger brings trouble, but there is safety in refusing to do so. A gracious woman gets honor, but she who hates virtue is covered with shame. The timid become destitute, but the aggressive gain riches. So that was verse 16. You're going to hear a very different phrasing coming from Peterson. And most likely, if you're following closely, is going to sound like the opening and the ending portion of that verse. There are two references coming from the NRSV that there are phrases that they include that are lacking in I shouldn't say opposite manuscripts, in the Hebrew manuscript compared to the Greek manuscript. So that's the Septuagint and then the Hebraic, or not Septuagint. Well, Latin is Vulgate, Septuagint. Yeah, that's in the Greek. So the notes will say, and this, if you're doing NRSV, it's most likely listed as an A and a B. So for the Hebrew lacks the she through the shame part, and then it also lacks the timid. It becomes destitute. All right, let me go ahead and give you that verse, and then we'll do a little bit of focus before we go into that. So for Peterson, that verse 16 says this: a woman of gentle grace gets respect, but men of rough violence grab for loot. So hopefully you can hear some of the portions in there. I'm going with Peterson as actually the more consistent part. And also it just has a nice frame between the woman of gentle grace and then these men of rough character grabbing for loot rather than aggressive behavior gaining riches. But an intriguing little shift there and difference. If that's an unfamiliar context, so when we're looking at biblical translations, we have a variety of manuscripts and resources that are going in to that translation. Ultimately, either the individual or the group translating is prayerfully and faithfully trying to come to the best capture of what they are seeing and reflecting. And then a little portion before doing some specific verses. Did I mark it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, just took me a little while to find. Sorry. And this is that line on not belittling another that you heard a minute ago. On the practical level, to belittle another person is to damage the bond of common humanity, to sever ourselves from our own flesh. In marriage and family, in corporate and civic life, to belittle the other destroys the ability to continue our common work, whatever that may be. It is a form of win-lose thinking that ultimately redounds to our own loss. The person I insult, directly or in secret, is unlikely to help me in my time of need. Understanding or wisdom knows when to hold its tongue. And then a couple of verses. So we talked about 16. And then just some ones that kind of caught my ear. Verse 13 in the NRSV, a gossip goes about telling secrets, but one who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a confidence. Peterson, I will share with you before doing the entire reading, is a gadabout gossip can't be trusted with the secret, but someone of integrity won't violate a confidence. And then this is the following verse is the one that Peterson uses for his title of this section. Without good direction, people lose their way. The more wise counsel you follow, the better your chances. And so when we're talking about counsel, we are talking about wise counsel and not just those voices going on in the background. The NRSV for that verse does. Where there is no guidance, a nation falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Yeah, seeking wisdom and prudence through the people we have around us. Please, Lord God, may it be so with us. So here's our reading from Peterson. And again, the title is Without Good Direction, People Lose Their Way. God hates cheating in the marketplace. He loves it when business is above board. Pause. You heard that line about God hating a false balance being an abomination to God. That image is the scales they will be using for monetary purposes at the time that the Proverbs were being written. And we encounter that a lot. It's trying to convey appropriate and honest economic behavior as we are engaging with the people around us. You mean God just said something about how we approach our money and our dealings with others? Yep. Sorry. God hates cheating in the marketplace. He loves it when business is above board. The stuck up fall flat on their faces, but down to earth people stand firm. The integrity of the honest keeps them on track. The deviousness of crooks brings them to ruin. A thick bankroll is no help when life falls apart. But a principled life can stand up to the worst. Moral character makes for smooth traveling. An evil life is a hard life. Good character is the best insurance. Crooks get trapped in their sinful lust. When the wicked die, that's it. The story's over. End of hope. A good person is saved from much trouble. A bad person runs straight into it. The loose tongue of the godless spreads destruction. The common sense of the godly preserves them. When it goes well for good people, the whole town cheers. When it goes badly for bad people, the town celebrates. That's harsh. But when right living people bless the city, it flourishes. Evil talk turns it into a ghost town in no time. Mean spirited slander is heartless. Quiet discretion accompanies good sense. A gadabout gossip can't be trusted with a secret, but someone of integrity won't violate a confidence. Without good direction, people lose their way. The more wise counsel you follow, the better your chances. Whoever makes deals with strangers is sure to get burned. If you keep a cool head, you'll avoid rash bargains. A woman of gentle grace gets respect, but men of rough violence grab for loot. So that is our culmination for today. We'll be back with you. I think we're going to have it in two sections. So we'll be back with you for our conclusion of Proverbs 11 and keep on rolling. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you later.